Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. I got a comment this morning on my social media. A guy was saying, he says, you need to, put, he didn't say tear gas, but gas your attic, and then listen for somebody to cough. And I told him, I said, I did that. I was tear gassing my attic. I heard him coughing the next day. Here, I'm going to tell this story right here. And I started on Facebook. Detective Rosie Rodriquez somehow knew that I put electricity on my doorknob 2 weeks before the murder attempt. This is when I believe Matt Hyman died. And this is all connected with the tear gassing. Okay. Let me go through the comments. Okay. And you can see that's the tear gas I was using. It's called Clear Out. It's made for enclosed places. After the ex-wife moved out, I was determined to stop the crimes being committed against me. One night I set off tear gas in my attic, and I got the home intruders good. I could hear them scrambling around in a panic, trying to get out. The next day I heard one of them coughing. Okay, and I'm showing a picture of what I drilled a hole, and you could just stick the tube up in the attic and set it off from down here, and then here in court at the protective order hearing, that was brought up because they were trying to make me out to look crazy. Of course, now with 50 other homeowners documented reporting the attic, it's very suspicious. They're trying to anybody trying to call me crazy. That next weekend on January 14, 2012, after I tear gassed it, I noticed that somebody was trying to come into my bedroom. I was afraid they were there to kill me in retribution for the tear gas. I quickly locked the door, but I was worried they would kick it open, like I believe happened to the previous owner, Mike Lawhon. The home inspector and I found a hole in the back door right after I bought this home, which wasn't there when I first looked at it on October 1st, 2008. I had pictures proving this. This door was kicked in sometime during the month that I now believe Mike was killed here and taken to his mom's house in Fort Worth. That's a previous owner. I took this picture here on my first day to look at the home on October 1st, 2008 before I bought it. And here shows on the home inspector report where we found a hole in the door, a laundry room door. That's a laundry room. And basically somebody kicked out that doorknob and it proved that the door had been kicked open sometime during the month that Mike Lawhon had died. Okay, Nino asked me, says, do you have a picture of her? Asking about Rosie Rodriguez. I said, yes, the former secret police accidentally started my security camera while trying to disable it. And I have the proof from the log file showing that. So this is a picture of that Rosie Rodriguez that falsified evidence or tampered with evidence, falsified police reports, destroyed my life with lies, etc. Okay. And then I go on to say, in this picture, she's leaned over my nightstand where I found my stolen cell phone planted. My phone was stolen, and my home phone lines were disconnected before I was shot with my phone lines cut. They had planned on me bleeding out and dying. Based on the timestamps, it looks like Rosie and April Chandler waited for the other police officers to leave my bedroom before they planted my stolen cell phone. And that's where I found this picture. Here, this is Rosie leaned over the nightstand, and this is where I found my stolen cell phone planted. April Chandler's right here. All the other police are gone out of the room. I believe they waited till the other police were out of my room. And like I said, it was stolen before I was shot with my phone lines cut. Or they cut my phone lines and stole my cell phone. I had an extension cord in my bedroom, so I cut the end off of it and wrapped the hot wire around the doorknob. I believe this saved my life that night. I didn't report this to the police due to the threats by Midland Police Department officers Bush and Sellers, Trent Sellers and Blake Bush, when they were at my home on December 20th, 2011. They had handcuffed me and placed me in a police car that had a bag of marijuana already laying in the seat. I was then told, we better not be called back here again for this stuff. The threat to be framed was clear, and now I'm sure they knew about the underground home in my backyard that had been hosting the oil show parties. That explains why they were threatening to arrest me without saying anything. And this is a police report, December 20th, Blake Bush, Trent Sellers, a male extremely 1096. Do you see that? Husband, Buddy Webb, came home and told wife that someone's been getting in their house, stealing stuff. And once again, 50 other homeowners that reported in my attic makes it pretty clear all I was doing is telling the truth, and I was a crime victim. 2 weeks later, I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut and burglar alarms going to the attic. They had planned my murder in advance. In fact, the person that shot me was in no danger at all since I didn't know they were there. God saved my life as their shot threaded the needle between an artery and a vein. This allowed me to crawl out on my hands and knees. When I got to the hospital, I was telling Detective Rosie Rodriguez about noticing somebody in my home again and tie wiring my spare door shut. In an angry tone of voice, she said, "Did you put electricity on it?" This out-of-place question told me that she somehow knew that I'd placed electricity on my doorknob 2 weeks earlier. Okay. And this is me crawling out. Why did you crawl out, buddy? Because my phone line didn't have no communication. They stole my cell phone and cut my phone lines and then shot me. Okay. After I returned from the hospital, I looked up the obituaries to see if anybody had died on January 14th that may have been electrocuted in my home. I saw where a 33-year-old landman attorney named Matt Hyman had died on this day. And I could see landman being connected with the oil show parties. But at this time, I didn't know how he died or even what time of day, But this was his obituary, his picture. 33 years old, used to work for Croati Land Services, and then he Cotton Bledsoe, Ty Dawson. He was an attorney. Okay, and so. Anyways, I posted this theory of Matt being electrocuted in my home on Facebook. My nurse at the time said she was his sister-in-law. I asked her questions to help confirm or deny if he was killed here. I wanted to know how he died, and she said that he died of a surprise heart failure. Electricity stops the heart, so that didn't rule him out. I then asked what time he died, and I found out that he died at the same time I had electricity on my doorknob. Because if he died that morning, I knew it wasn't him. Or if he died in a plane crash, I knew it wasn't him. But, he had a genetic heart defect nobody knew he had. Oh, yeah. Was he messing with electricity? What time did he die? It was at night, same time I had electricity. That didn't rule him out at all. It even made him more of a suspect, actually. And then two of Matt's friends, Brian Hillman and Chris Mertz, who were also landmen, then threatened me. They were desperate to stop me from asking questions. I wondered if they were here with Matt when I believe he was electrocuted. If so, then I knew they had to let him die instead of calling 911 for help. Of course, if they had done that, then they would have been arrested for breaking into my home. And keep in mind, my doors were bolted shut. The people breaking into my home, who I could hear very clearly, were coming in from the underground entrance that I was later shot from. Here's Brian Hillman. "Dude, you're barking up the wrong tree. I said you take this down immediately. Read the DM." And I'm going to show you that in a minute, And here's Maria. She says, "Are they always threatening you like this?" And here's Chris Mertz. "Buddy, I'll block everybody who doesn't support your craziness." See that name sparing? I worked across the desk from you. He worked for DCP. Don't say I don't know you. I worked with you the day you shot yourself. Brian is a good man. You posted bullshit about his family. If you would have been me, you would have answered for it face to face. You got the balls to post your crazy ass shit, then you got to have the balls to accept the consequences. See? And then that's a death threat, and I'm a crippled crime victim reporting crime to the police. Okay. Midland Police Detective Rosie Rodriquez asking me in anger if I'd put electricity on the tower had convinced me that Matt Hyman was killed in my home and that the murder attempt was at least partially planned out of revenge. This explains why she tampered with the evidence, lied on the police reports. In fact, I believe she was trying to get the doctors to cut off my leg, knowing that it was evidence of this home invasion and premeditated murder attempt. I found it on the police reports where Rosie Rodriguez mentions Buddy had surgery and his foot was not amputated. And that was before I was fixing to go in surgery on that day. And then all these other amputation every day, about 10 deals in my medical records about amputation. They were tried to cut off my leg. I found out that the only supposed witness to Matt Hyman's surprise heart failure was his wife, Leslie, and then she married Brian Hillman, the guy that was threatening me, Here's where he says, "Matt Hyman's not your guy. This is my wife's late husband." So she's the only person that saw him die of the surprise heart failure at 33 years old, And I went out and asked him, and he was just rude. Okay, but both Chris Mertz and Brian Hillman have threatened, continued to smear my name, calling me crazy. That doesn't work now. There are over 50 other homeowners documented reporting people in the attic since I was shot while reporting people in the attic. One day I was at the grocery store. A guy comes up to me, shakes my hand, says he's Brian Hillman, and then says, "You better watch your back." And I said, "Does that threaten?" He says, "You bet it is." I posted this from the parking lot. Brian Hillman threatened me, and then whoever shot me probably killed Mike Lawhon. So I wonder if somebody wants to talk to Brian Hillman, Chris Mertz, Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.